Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's 5 o'clock and it's our March Committee of Adjustment meeting, and welcome. Everyone's information. We'll generally deal with each application according to the order of the agenda. Extra copies are not available on the back table because we don't have a back table right now. But anyway, I digress. Anyone present who wishes to speak in support or against the application, as well as anyone with questions or concerns, will have an opportunity. The committee will then make the decision following each application. If there's anyone present who is not an applicant or an agent but is interested in the decision of the committee, you can get in touch with the Secretary Treasurer, Sherry Mott, through her email at sherry.mott@norfolkcounty.ca. Please list the file number and your full name and mailing address, and copies of the decisions are automatically sent to the applicant and agent within 15 days of the meeting. In order to be kept advised of a possible appeal to the local planning and appeal tribunal, you must request that you be sent a copy of the committee's decision on the application. The decisions are final and there are no appeals 20 days after the committee's decision. May I remind everyone that we are being live streamed, and if you have any phones nearby, that you put them on silent mode. And right now we'll start off with a roll call. And I guess Adam is here with me in the council chambers, and Lisa?
Yes.
And Rudy? Marcel?
Yes.
So that gives us a quorum. And we'll see if Rudy checks in later. So firstly, we'll have the first order of business is determine if any members have any disclosures of pecuniary interest when considering any of the applications that we'll be dealing with today. Are there any disclosures of interest? Lisa?
Nope.
Adam? Marcel?
No.
Rudy? Okay, I have one conflict I'm going to declare on file number BNPL 2021038, the property at 616 St. George Street. The applicant is a friend of mine, so I'll step away, and Adam will take the chair during that application. Okay? So if all the members have received the minutes of the previous meeting, are there any errors or omissions? Can I have a motion to accept the minutes from the previous meeting of February the 17th?
Lisa forwards.
Thanks, Lisa. Seconder? Adam?
Right.
All those in favor? Lisa?
Yes.
Marcel?
Yes.
Rudy? Adam is yes, and myself is yes, and that's carried. So our first application is going to be, let's see, file number BNPL 2021020 in the name of MELS Farms Limited. And will the planner give the report, please?
Thank you. Through the chair, an application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of approximately 77.8 meters and an area of 5,829 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of approximately 39 hectares as a severance of a dwelling made surplus through farm amalgamation. Just hold on. Next slide. The subject farm is approximately 98 acres in area and fronts onto the north side of Wyndham Road 2. The lands to be severed are 5,829 square meters in size and would create a lot rectangular in shape. Both the severed and the retained would maintain frontage along Wyndham Road 2. The retained lands are used for agricultural purposes and contain a barn, drying kilns, which will remain. Comments have been consolidated in the staff report, which the applicant, members of the committee, and members of the public have access to. No comments of concerns were received. It's staff's opinion that the subject application is consistent with the PPS, conforms to Norfolk surplus farm severance policies of the official plan, and complies with Norfolk zoning bylaw for suitable lot creation within the agricultural zone. It's as such, planning staff support this application and recommend it be approved, subject to the attached conditions. Next slide.
Done. Thank you. Is the applicant or agent on the line? Okay. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? No? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to the application? Is that a hello? Okay, we'll move on. Can I get a motion from the committee?
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Marcel.
Marcel.
And a seconder? Adam? Okay, Adam, thanks. So file number BNPL 2021020 in the name of MELS Farms Limited. The subject application is consistent with the related policies of the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and the Norfolk County Official Plan regarding surplus farm dwelling severances. And was there public input received?
Through the chair, there was no public
Okay,
input
no public
received.
input was received, and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? Marcel?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
And Rudy? No? Okay. And Adam? And myself, yes. That motion is carried. So next up we have file number BNPL 2021024 in the name of Michael BEAUDRY. And that is a application to sever. And can the planner gal give the report?
For sure, and through the chair, it's a boundary adjustment. So there's no lot creation. This is just going to be shifting lands from the Turkey Point Marina into the subject lands. But I can give an explanation. So an application has been received to sever a parcel having no frontage and be irregular in shape and having an area of an approximately 98 square meters, and retain a parcel having approximately 31.5 hectares as a boundary adjustment. The lands are to be added to an existing vacation home parcel located immediately adjacent to to the north and having a civic address of 231 Ordnance Avenue. Final lot size will be just over 600 square meters at around 636. There's no change in frontage. So as I previously mentioned, that the father parcel or the mother parcel is McDonald Turkey Point Marina, and listed that the marina itself will remain as is, with only the minor adjustment. The intent of the adjustment is just to add a little land to a parcel that is quite deficient in area, as well as there's a section of that land which is currently used by the subject proponent, so who is the benefiting lands, and they would like to have that land for their own use. Comments have been consolidated in the staff report, which the applicant, members of the committee, and members of the public have access to. No comments of concern were received, and no comments have been received. And the subject application is consistent with the PPS, conforms to Norfolk's severance policies and boundary adjustment policies as per the official plan. It's staff's opinion that we support this application and recommend it be approved, subject to the attached conditions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does the agent or applicant on the line have any comment?
I'm here, Maria Kinkle, appearing as agent, and I have no further comments.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? No? And is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application online? No? Is there a motion from the committee?
Lisa Forwards.
Okay, Lisa, thank you.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry?
I'll second that, Marcel.
Thank you, Marcel. So file number BNPL 2021-024, the name of Michael BEAUDRY. The subject application is consistent with the related policies of the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and conforms to the consent policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa?
Yes.
Thank you. And is Rudy on the line yet?
Yes, I am. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Yes.
Okay, thanks for joining us, Rudy. Good to hear you. And Adam,
It
yes?
took a while to get on, sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Rudy.
I say it took a little while to get on, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Quite all right. Adam? And myself. And that motion is carried. So the next two files we're going to combine, and that would be file number BNPL 2021023 and ANPL 2021027, both in the name of Mark Fitzgerald, and the planner can go ahead and give the reports.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So an application has been received to several parcel having a frontage of 12 meters, a width of 12 meters, a depth of 95.7 meters, and having an area of 1,148 square meters, and retaining a parcel having an area of 888 square meters as the creation of a lot within the town of Simcoe. The proposal for the minor variance application is to recognize the deficiencies that have been created through the proposed severance application, which requires relief of 0.9 meters from the interior side yard setback to permit a setback of 0.3 meters. For these applications, planning staff are recommending deferral because the application does not meet the servicing policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan. Planning staff have received the following comment from Development Engineering, which further speaks to this, to the reason for the deferral. So currently there are studies that are taking place as part of the interurban water study, and there have been identification of a potential supply deficiency in Simcoe. Staff are taking additional studies to confirm this over the next few months, and a further report will be made available. So as a result of this, development applications, which includes Committee of Adjustment, severance applications, and minor variances, cannot proceed to a decision and must be deferred until allocation and water servicing is confirmed to be available. So therefore, staff are recommending deferral because the application does not meet the servicing policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant or agent on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and you're fine with the deferral?
I'm just kind of confused by it. I didn't hear anything about this before when this was going through.
The planner can speak to that.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So we have just received this verbiage essentially today, for the most part. So this is something that's new for us as well, in terms of providing this information to you. So you haven't heard it much later than I have.
Okay. So I guess that's kind of about all that can be done then?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Oh, I mean, I guess there's nothing I can kind of do or say. This is just the way it is.
Essentially.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to answer that, but at this time, that's correct.
Okay.
All I can say
I guess
is
that's the way it is.
all I can say as the chair is that a deferral will be deferred, and that you'll be in touch with staff to work it out, and that it will come back to the committee at a later date, and we'll go through this process again.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
Any
good.
questions? Okay.
I guess so, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Any questions from the committee?
Mr. Chairman, Rudy, could I hear that language again that the planner read in terms of reason for deferral?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the language for the deferral was currently there is an interurban water study that is taking place, and there's been a potential supply deficiency in the town of Simcoe. Staff will be undertaking additional studies to confirm this over the next few months, and a further report will be made available. As a result of this, development applications, which includes consent applications and minor variance applications, can be processed, but a decision cannot be made and must be deferred until allocation and water servicing is confirmed to be available.
Okay, no, thank you for that. So I guess my follow-up question would be, so that will impact any other consents in Simcoe at this time?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Does the committee have any other questions? Can I get a motion for deferral, please? Thanks, Adam.
Rudy moves.
Seconder?
Rudy will second it.
Thanks, Rudy. So this is, we'll do them separately here to vote on. So this is file number BNPL 2021023. The application has been moved to be deferred. All those in favor, Adam? And Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa?
Yes.
Thank you. And Rudy?
Yes.
And that motion is carried. So then the next one is file number ANPL 2021027, and that too is being moved to be deferred. And can I get a mover for that?
I'll move it, Mr. Chairman, Marcel.
Okay, thanks, Marcel. Seconder? Thanks, Adam. So again, file number ANPL 2021027 in the name of Mark James Fitzgerald has been moved to be deferred. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
Thank you, Marcel. And Lisa?
Yes.
Thank you. And Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam? And myself? And that's carried. And I'm going to turn... At this point, I'm going to turn the chair over to Adam for this next application. Thank you.
Okay. So our next application to be considered is for a severance. The file number is BNPL 2021038. Is the applicant and or agent in attendance?
Yes,
Yes.
the applicant's here and the agent's here as well.
Okay. The planner will now give the report on this application.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. An application has been received to several parcel having a frontage of 10.06 meters, a depth of 47.24 meters, and an area of 475.2 square meters, and retain a parcel having a frontage of 10.06 meters, a depth of 47.24 meters, and an area of 475.2 square meters as the creation of a lot in the urban residential area of Port Dover. The subject lands, So the subject lands have a front onto St. George Street in the urban area of Port Dover. So currently, the property as a whole consists of a single detached dwelling with 2 dwelling units with 2 separate water meters, 1 for each unit, as well as a detached garage. The applicant intends on demolishing the existing single detached dwelling along with the detached garage in order to construct a semi-detached dwelling. So the property is within an urban area and is surrounded by urban residential dwellings to the north, east, and south, as well as Lakewood Elementary School to the west. So currently, there's already 2 water connections, so this does not change the servicing capacity through this application. So because there's already 2 water connections and they're proposing 2 water connections, they're essentially square. So there have been comments that have been received through the consolidation, which has been included in the staff report. So comments have been included by development engineering. I specifically wanted to speak to the 5th and 6th comments, which state that there's currently a development moratorium in place for the community of Port Dover for any new development that requires servicing from the municipal water supply, and there is currently an interim control bylaw in Port Dover that may impact the development of this property. So in regards to the 5th and 6th comment that have been provided, it's staff's opinion that since the existing dwelling already has 2 water connections, that there is no change in servicing capacity through this application. So as a result of this, the application is consistent with the PPS and conforms to the consent policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan, and planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved subject to the attached conditions.
Thank you. Does the committee have any questions for the planner? Very good. Hearing none. Would the applicant like to provide any additional information? Oh, you're on mute there.
Caroline.
Carolyn, have you got anything to say?
I'm sorry, pardon?
No, I don't have anything to add, thank you.
No, we don't have anything to add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anyone present who wishes to speak in favor of the application? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak in opposition of the application or in general? Okay, then any further comments from the committee members? Seeing none, is there a motion from the committee?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Rudy.
And Lisa seconds as well.
Thank you. Okay, so the motion is for approval. Can I get a vote, I guess, around the table? Marcel?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Okay, Adam's a yes. That's everybody? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
Yep.
So next up, we have 3 more applications that are going to be presented together. File number BNPL 2021, BNPL 2021, 026, 028, and 029. And the planner can give their report.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. So essentially the first severance application is to create the outline of the subject lands, the entirety of the square, and then the second severance application, it would be to further subdivide the properties to create 2 lots within that original severance. And the minor variance application is to address deficiencies that have been created through the severance applications. So, an application, for the first one, an application is received to several a parcel having a frontage of a total of 17 meters, a depth of 30 meters, and an area of 510 square meters, and retain a parcel having an area of 2,300 square meters as the creation of the lot within the town of Simcoe. So that's the creation of the entirety of the lot. And then the second application is to further subdivide it in order to have 2 lots with a frontage of 8.5 meters, a width of 17 meters, and an area of 255 square meters, while retaining a parcel having an area of 255 square meters as the creation of a lot in the town of Simcoe. So for these applications, planning staff are also recommending deferral because the application does not meet the servicing policies of the Norfolk County official plan. So as we've mentioned for the other applications, that currently there are studies that are taking place through the interurban water supply study, as it's been identified that there is a potential servicing restraint within the town of Simcoe, and so as a result of this, staff are recommending deferral of this all 3 of the applications. And so at this time, staff are recommending deferral because it does not meet the servicing policies of the Norfolk County official plan for all 3.
Okay, thanks. So before we go on, we have received 3 pieces of correspondence pertaining to these applications. These pieces of correspondence will be kept on file, and they will be brought forward the next time these applications come to us. So they will be kept. So I'll just go through. We have to go through these one at a time. So application number BNPL 2021026. I need a mover for deferral, please.
I'll move it, Mr. Chairman, Marcel.
Seconded by Marcel.
Yes.
Thank you. Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak to this application? Or BNPL 2022128 or 029? No? Okay.
Caroline Jagger here, the agent, the applicant.
I'm sorry?
It's Caroline Jagger here, agent of the applicant.
Okay.
I have a question with this and with the other one. Is there any indication of a time frame for the deferral for this?
Can the planner speak to that, please?
Through the chair, at this time, there is no indication as to when the next meeting would be held in which these applications would be heard. We're still waiting for direction from senior management, so whenever that becomes available to us, it will become available to you as well.
Thank you.
Anything else, Carolyn?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else on the line that wants to speak to these applications?
Yeah, Nick Thompson here, the applicant. Just curious with these, is there any reason in particular that we would need to hold these up at the severance stage and not at the building permit stage, just in order to allow things to progress with retained parcels?
Through the chair, so because the application doesn't meet the intent of, the application through the servicing capacity and constraints doesn't meet the intent of the official plan, we can't move it forward until that component of it is essentially dealt with. So once we have direction in terms of the servicing capacity and constraints, at that time, then we'd be able to move forward.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else on the line that wants to speak to these 3 applications? Hearing none. Okay, we'll proceed. So I've already got a motion on the floor with Adam moving and Marcel seconding on application number BNPL 2021026. All those in favor of a deferral? Marcel
Yes.
and Lisa?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Adam? And myself, yes. So that motion carries. So the next one for deferral, I need a motion for deferral, would be file number BNPL 2021028. Mover?
Rudy moves.
Thank you, Rudy.
Mr. Chairman.
Seconded by Adam. All those in favor of deferral, Marcel?
Yes.
Thank you. Lisa?
Yes.
Thanks. Rudy?
Yes.
Adam? And myself, yes. That's carried. And finally, this batch, file number ANPL 2021029, mover for deferral.
Marcel moves approval.
Marcel, thanks, Marcel. Adam, second. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
And Adam? And myself? And that also is carried. Okay. So, that brings us to file number BNPL 2021013 in the name of DESCHEEMAEKER. Thank you. And can the planner give the report, please?
For sure. This is a joint severance, but I'll be taking them at one lot at a time, as policy is quite different for from the first to the second. So an application has been received to sever a lot. So we're seeing lot 1, which is to the south, having a frontage of 30 meters and a depth of 135 meters, and an area of approximately 0.477 hectares, and retain a parcel having an area of approximately 1.54 hectares. And this is as a creation of a lot within the hamlet of La Salette. Comments have been consolidated in the staff report with the applicant and members of the public and community having access to them. No comments have been received, and no comments from agencies of concern were received. I'll give a bit of a history. So the parcel itself is irregular in shape and has approximately 2.1 hectares of area, and it has two frontages currently, one off Wyndham Road 19 and the other off of Souter Street. So we have these two frontages. From a severance perspective, Lot 1 meets our requirements for consent policies as per the PPS and conforms to Norfolk's severance policies of the official plan. It's planning's opinion that this application meets the intent of these policies, and planning staff support the application and recommended it be approved subject to the attached conditions.
It's actually really hard to hear you right now, but I'm the agent with this application.
Do you have anything to add?
No, I do not.
Okay, thank you. I had my mic off, I just realized. And the committee has no questions of the planner? And there's no one else on the line that wishes to speak to it? Okay, can I get a motion from the committee?
Lisa moves.
Adam moves it.
Lisa seconds.
Thanks, Lisa. So file number BNPL 2021013 in the name of Jeff DESCHEEMAEKER. The subject application is consistent with the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and conforms to the consent policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan and the Norfolk County Zoning Bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Rudy?
Yes.
Adam? Myself? That motion is carried. So next up we have file number BNPL 2021014 in the name of Jeff DESCHEEMAEKER again. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you, through the chair. If the presenter would be so kind to go back to the first slide of this application as I give the description. But this is the second lot of the subject parcel. So an application has been made to sever a lot, being lot 2, having a frontage of 30 meters, a depth of 135 meters, and an area of 0.404 hectares, and retain a parcel having a frontage of 4.33 meters on Wyndham Road, and an area of approximately 1.136 hectares as a creation of a lot within the hamlet of La Salette. This application is being heard following the previous one, which was just received and approved, recommended for approval. The situation for this lot is a little unique compared to the previous, where the previous had met all severance policies. This one is lacking in one area. That is, the retained lands has a deficient frontage. As per our zoning bylaw, if you have multiple lots, if you have a lot with multiple frontages, whatever the frontage with the lesser of the value is considered the legal frontage. So even though there is approximately 150 meters of frontage along the north side of Souter Street, per our zoning bylaw, we have to consider this frontage along Wyndham Road 19. With this in mind, staff has been in a conversation with the applicant, and the applicant has noted that the parcel to the north, which was formerly a rail line, which you can see there, is owned by the person who owns the retained lands, and they have made the intent of further development on the parcel as a whole and considers merging that north lot with the actual retained lands. A result of this merger would create frontage along Wyndham Road 19, which is greater than 30 meters. As a result of this, it's planning staff's opinion that it meets the policies of the Norfolk County's severance policies through the official plan, and with a condition being made that the northern parcel does merge with the south, would then meet the severance policies as per the specific lot and as per the zoning bylaw. So with that, it's staff's opinion that the application should be recommended for approval subject to the attached conditions, which does include that condition to merge the rail line yard or the north parcel with the retained lands. Thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't quite clear on that, but now I am. Okay, thank you. Is the agent or applicant on the line?
Yes, the agent is here.
Anything to add?
No, I just, actually there's one thing is that the purchase of those lands have gone through, so there is no issue with merging the lands as far as we're concerned.
Okay, I'm having a hard time making you out, but you're all good with that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because the lands have already been purchased.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? I just had that one question, but you've answered the question with the rail spur line and it being absorbed at a later date somewhere in another application by another person, I guess. Okay. So that was the only thing I had a question on. So, does the committee have any other questions at all? Okay, good. Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application in general on the line? Okay, can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Lisa
Rudy moves
recommends
approval.
approval.
Thank you, Lisa. Seconded by?
Rudy?
Thanks, Rudy. So file number BNPL 2021014 in the name of Jeff DESCHEEMAEKER. The subject application is consistent with the Provincial Policy Statement 2020 and conforms to the consent policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan and the Norfolk County Zoning Bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Marcel
Yes.
and Lisa
Yes.
and Rudy
Yes.
and Alan, yep, and Adam. And that motion carries. So this brings us to file number BNPL 2021018, Ronald Edward Baker. Can the planner give the report?
Through you, Mr. Chair. An application has been received to sever a parcel having a frontage of 21.34 meters, an irregular depth of 20.12 meters, and an area of 855 square meters, and to retain a parcel having a frontage of 20.11 meters, a width of 20.07 meters, and an irregular depth of 27.61 meters, in an area of 541 square meters as the creation of a lot in the urban residential area of Port Rowan. So the retained lands contain an existing single detached dwelling and a detached garage, and the subject lands, or the severed parcel in this case, is currently vacant. So for this application, planning staff are recommending deferral because the application does not meet the servicing policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan. So previous, with the other applications that we've heard, it was because of the water or servicing constraints in Simcoe, but the same issue is also happening in Port Rowan. So as a result of this, staff have to recommend deferral of the application to be heard at a later date. And so because the application does not currently meet the servicing policies of the Norfolk County Official Plan, staff are recommending deferral.
Okay, thanks. Is the applicant or agent on the line? Has the applicant or agent been made aware?
Through the chair, they have been made aware. I
Okay.
contacted Ronald Baker myself.
Okay, thanks. Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak to this application?
Mr. Chairman, I'm just wondering if it wouldn't have been just as well that we would have just made it a condition and maybe dealt with these deferrals instead, because we're going to get backlogged with all these deferrals.
Yeah, I know, Marcel. Do you want to speak to that, Fabian?
Through the chair, this was the direction that was received through senior management. So this is the direction that I've been instructed to present and provide. So like with that being said, I have to do essentially what senior management has instructed us to do.
So again,
Chairman, I'm just wondering why these applications even came to us then.
Sorry, Marcel, could you repeat that?
I'm just wondering why they even came to the committee if they're all being deferred. They should have been just held in-house and never come to us.
Well, I think like the previous ones, Marcel, this was a last-minute call.
Okay.
Fabian, you want to?
Yeah, sorry, through the chair. The information about this is fairly recent and it's pretty new to us, so this was something that was decided not long ago, to be honest, and this was the direction that was taken. So
Anything else, Marcel?
No, that's fine, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so just at what point? So there's going to be there'll be a study for the Port Rowan area, and we're looking at an unknown time frame again.
That's correct. So the study includes Simcoe, Port Rowan, and I forget what the other place was. But the study is taking place and is going to be heard in front of council. When that is, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, all right. Okay, so does the committee have any other questions? Is there anyone on the line that wishes to speak? Was the agent on the line on this one? No agent? No, okay, all right. And you were in touch with Ronald Baker. So can I get a motion for deferral, please? Adam, thank you. And seconded by?
Marcel.
Thanks, Marcel. So again, file number BNPL 2021018 in the name of Ronald Edward Baker has been moved to be deferred. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa? Lisa?
Yes.
Thank you. And Rudy?
Yes.
Adam? And Alan? Yep. And that too is carried. So that comes to file number ANPL 2021030, Carrie and Peter Barda on Prospect Street in Dover. Can the applicant give the report, or the planner give the report, please? Please.
Through the chair, an application has been received to permit the construction of a swimming pool requiring relief of section 3.32 of the Norfolk County zoning bylaw to permit a pool in the front yard. And it's also supposed to include the following variance: to request relief of section 3.2.1b in order to request relief of 0.01 meter from the minimum front yard setback for an accessory structure from the required setback of 6 meters to permit a setback of 5.99 meters. So the subject lands are designated urban residential and hazard lands, and the subject lands are zoned urban residential type R1A in the Norfolk County zoning bylaw. The swimming pool is proposed to be in the front yard, essentially because, so as you can see on the slide here, so where you can see where the existing single detached dwelling is, but past that to the south, there's quite a steep drop-off there that heads towards the ravine, and there isn't necessarily a proper area to build a swimming pool at that area, so they've proposed, if you could go to the next slide, presenter. Thank you. So they have proposed to place the swimming pool there in the northeast corner of the property. So this is essentially of the constraints of the property, because it can't be constructed in the hazard land and it cannot be constructed because it's just a lot easier to build it in the front yard. So the applicant requires relief of 0.01 meter from the front yard. So this is not anticipated to have any negative effects on abutting property owners. And there's a significant amount of vegetation in the front yard, as there's a row of trees along Prospect Street kind of screening the property in. So in addition, comments have been received from the building department in which the applicant also must ensure that the fence around the pool is constructed in accordance with the fence bylaw. In terms of public comments, there have been no public comments that have been received. Planning staff support this application and recommend that it be approved.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant or agent on the line? Okay. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there anyone present that wishes to speak to this application on the line? Okay, can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Rudy moves approval, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Rudy. Seconded by? Adam, thanks. So file number BNPL 2021030, ANPL PL2021-030 in the name of Carrie and Peter Barta. This application is consistent with the provincial policy statement of 2020 and conforms to the policy of the Norfolk County official plan, and no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa?
Yes.
And Rudy?
Yes.
Thank you. And Adam? And myself? And that motion is carried. So next up is file number ANPL 2021-035 in the name of Robert Yalla. And the planner can give the report, please.
Thank you. And through the chair, if the presenter wouldn't mind going to the next slide, please. Wonderful. An application has been received to permit the reconstruction of an existing vacation home, requesting relief of 5.01 meters from the minimum permitted front yard of 6 meters, to permit a setback of 0.91 meters, and to permit a lot coverage of 18.27%, whereas 15% is permitted. The subject lands are approximately 400 square meters in area and of a depth of approximately 21 meters. And have frontage of 19.8 meters along the north side of Pelham Street in the resort area of Turkey Point. The subject lands contain an existing vacation home, which is approximately 97.3 square meters, which is around 23% coverage, which is proposed to be removed and replaced with a proposed vacation home of 87 square meters, only 18.3% coverage. There is a decrease in coverage. In addition, the existing front yard setback is 1.93 meters, where the new requested front yard setback is that 0.1 meters. Similar vacation homes are located along Pelham Street and the surrounding subject lands. So this application came to be because this property is quite an old home, and they're wanting to do renovations, as you can see from the images. And the reason for this setback is actually been created from the building department to allow for an appropriate sized septic system. So the applicant had to move their property or their structure forward to accommodate the appropriate setbacks from that septic system. As you can see, or as I stated previously and in my last slide, you'll see that the existing dwelling on site is actually larger than what's being proposed. And the reason for this, or the reduction, is the applicant is trying to make a cottage that is accommodable for what they need while being considerate of this provision for coverage as well as for the front yard setback. In terms of actually that front yard setback of 0.9 meters, planning staff have no concerns with that. The intent of that front yard setback is to create conformity and compatibility between the neighboring land uses, to have a uniform kind of streetscape. Much of these existing cottages do have a very short front yard setback, and this is the end of a street that isn't highly used. So this further encroachment, we don't find will have a compatibility issue, or will have an issue when it comes to a nuisance or having an adverse effect. It's this opinion, it's this reason that staff believe that this application is appropriate. Comments have been consolidated in the staff report, which the applicant, members of the committee, and members of the public have access to. No comments have been received from the public. And I would note that the application, in staff's opinion, conforms to the general intent and purpose of the official plan because it is consistent with the resort residential policies and promotes the restoration of an aging vacation dwelling while ensuring adequate room for servicing. No, excuse me. The application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as the coverage and decreased front yard setback recognizes property constraints while ensuring the lot continues to function as intended. The application is appropriate given the existing context of the site, and the variances stem from accommodating the redesign of the septic/tile bed. Lastly, the application is minor because of the relevantly small size of the deficiencies requested. Further, the proposed increase in lot coverage per the 15% to the 18% is actually a decrease from what was existing on site, and the decrease in front yard setback ensures the property has adequate septic on site. It's this reason that staff support this application and recommend it be approved. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Excuse me. Is the agent or applicant on the line?
Yes, the agent's on the line.
Anything to add?
No comments, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the committee? No? Is there anyone present on the line that wishes to speak to this application in general? No? Can I get a motion from the committee, please?
Marcel moves approval.
Thanks, Marcel. Seconded by? Adam? Thanks, Adam. So file number ANPL 2021-035 in the name of Robert Yellup. In accordance with section 45.1 of the Planning Act, and development and requested relief is considered appropriate development, minor in nature, and maintains the general intent of the official plan and the zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor? Marcel?
Yes.
Thank you, Marcel. Lisa? Okay, well, I'll carry on. Rudy?
Yes.
Thanks, Rudy. Adam? And myself? And that motion is carried. So finally, we have application ANPL 2021-037 in the name of Bonnie Squires, and the planner can give the report, please.
For sure. If the agent, I'm sorry, not the agent, if the presenter would please go to the next slide. Thank you. An application has been received for the construction of a 40.35 square meter garage requiring or requesting to be permit of a setback of 5.75 meters from the exterior side yard, whereas 6 meters is required, so a relief of 0.25 meters. The subject lands are approximately 0.11 acres in size, have a depth of approximately 32 meters, and shared frontage along the north side of Rolfe Street, Stouth, and the east side of Colville Court. The driveway leads onto Colville Court and is frontage where the proposed garage will be facing. The subject lands contain an existing dwelling and 2 existing sheds. The 2 sheds will be removed and replaced by the proposed garage. The lands are zoned hamlet residential and within the urban boundary of Port Ryersees. Similar low-density residential lots surround the lands on all sides with similar garages. In terms of discussion points, the garage itself is less than the maximum permitted coverage when it comes to an accessory structure within the subject lands. The need for that setback is just because you have that exterior yard on Colville Street. You have to have those proper setbacks, and the intent of that again is to ensure conformity and compliance, or not compliance, but a single kind of view from the street itself. So any structures that are too close to the road can cause health concerns or safety concerns from motorists. But it's planning staff's opinion that this is sufficiently set back and only requesting 0.25 meters. And the need for that is just the lot itself is quite small. So it being placed a little closer to Colville Court does help with the ensuring that the setbacks for all the other yards, which are residential lots, are met. It's staff's opinion that this is our priority, ensuring that these setbacks are maintained between adjacent residential lots. When it comes to comments, no comments were received from the public, and no comments of concern were received from staff. All comments were provided in the staff report, which the applicant, member of the committee, and members of the public have access to. With respect to the application, a minor variance application under section 45.1 of the Planning Act, there's 4 tests that must be met. It's planning staff's opinion that all 4 tests have been met, and I'll read those tests and how they were met. The application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the official plan because it is consistent with the Hamlet policies recognizing appropriate and attractive residential development that improve the urban built landscape. The application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, as the garage facilitates the residential use of the lot without impacting the exterior yard and maintaining the intended services provided by the exterior side yard. The application is appropriate because it improves the function of the residential lot by adding a minor and compatible structure to store personal items and vehicles, as there is no attached garage on the dwelling, while considering development constraints to the lot being undersized. Lastly, the application is minor because the reduction will have no adverse impacts on the surrounding lands due to the minimal request. Therefore, it's staff's opinion that the application is supported and should be recommended, and we recommend it be approved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant or agent on the line? No. Does the committee have any questions of the planner? Is there anyone that wishes to speak to this application in general? Can I get a motion from the committee?
Rudy moves approval,
Thanks,
Mr.
Rudy.
Chairman.
Seconded by?
Marcel seconds it.
Thanks, Marcel. So application file number ANPL 2021037 in the name of Bonnie Squires, in accordance with section 45.1 of the Planning Act, the development and requested relief is considered appropriate development, minor in nature, and maintains the general intent of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and that no public input was received and therefore has not been considered as part of this application. All those in favor, Marcel?
Yes.
And Lisa? Okay, Lisa texted us and says yes. Thank you, Lisa. Rudy?
Yes.
Thanks, Rudy. And Adam? And Alan, yes. And that motion is carried. So finally, we have, is there any other business from the committee? No? So I have a motion to adjourn and to meet again at the next regular held session of the Committee of Adjustment for April 21st, 2021. Can I get a mover? Adam moves that.
I'll move it, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded by?
Marcel.
Marcel, thank you. And all those in favor, say aye. Everybody's aye.
Yay.
And the time of adjournment is 6:03, and we'll see you next month. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
What? That was painless.